What's going on, guys? It's Cole, and welcome to week 2 of season 4 of the Global Pokemon Society Draft League. So last week didn't go quite how we planned. Hopefully this week goes better. This week we are going up against one of the top teams from last season, and that is Katie, Ryan's wife, and the Denver Nighttails. So let's check out the team. Alright, so this week we brought Rillaboom, our shiny Gigantamax. I'm going with that. We brought, where is it? Excalibur, our Aegislash. We brought Chompy, our shiny Dracovish. We brought Picasso, our shiny Naganadon, Goldfinger, our Sableye, and Sirfetch'd, aka Sir Leaks-a-Lot. Hi, Dracovish. Okay, so excuse me, I'm talking here. Let's get into the battle, shall we? Alright, so let's go over the 10 Pokemon that she has. So as you can see, she has Tyranitar, Excadrill, Reuniclus, Conkeldurr, Meowstic, Crawdaunt, Amped Toxtricity, Vikavolt, Wigglytuff, and Turtonator. So none of hers are actually shiny. I tried to download the regular non-shiny ones, but it just wasn't cooperating, so I just said forget it, I'll go with the shiny ones even if she doesn't have any. So yeah, so none of her Pokemon are shiny. The only regular one that I actually wanted to download properly was Excadrill, so that's why it's the only non-shiny up there. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, so let's look at the team. So Funky Kong has the Assault Vest. Excalibur doesn't have an item. That's okay, because I'm not using it. It was going to have the leftovers, but I was bringing Goldfinger, so I chose to not take Excalibur actually into battle, because you can't have two Pokemon with the same items. Chompy's got a Choice Scarf to boost the power of Vicious Rend if he attacks first, compared to the target. Like I said before, Goldfinger, our Sableye, has the leftovers. Picasso, I swapped out the choice specs for Life Orb, and Sir Leaks-a-Lot obviously has the Leak to boost his crit ratio. Alright, so what she's bringing is Tyranitar, Excadrill, Reuniclus, Meowstic, Vikavolt, and her Amped Toxtricity. So let's do this. Going into this battle, I was kind of nervous, considering how good she was last season. Alright, so she leads off with Tyranitar and Excadrill, and we lead off with Rillaboom and Sableye. Alright, so we get the Grassy Surge up for the terrain. Tyranitar gets Sandstream up. So obviously Excadrill is running the ability Sand Rush, which doubles its speed in a sandstorm, so unless we use priority moves, which obviously we are going to do some of them, it's going to be moving first. Tick, tock, tick, tock. God, I tend to take a while. Alright, so we are going with the G-Max Drum Solo into Tyranitar, and we are going to Ally Switch. Oh, and she swaps out into Vikavolt. So even with the terrain, this G-Max Drum Solo is not going to do much. And here she goes, the Dynamax on Excadrill, which I figured she would. So hopefully this ally switch works. And she ends up targeting the Rillaboom, because then Sableye will take the damage instead of Rillaboom. You know, this would have been a very good battle to probably have also run Quash. Might take out Fake Out. We'll see. Because I don't use it that much. And it's only really good for once before you have to swap out and throw it back in. Alright, so we get the ally switch off. Priority thanks to Prankster. Steel Spike, and did it work? Yes, it did. So, Goldfinger takes the max Steel Spike instead of Rillaboom. She gets the +1 defense boost to both Vikavolt and Excadrill. So we see Excadrill is running Life Orb. And, but, like I said, that didn't do much damage. Alright, so now we take Sandstorm damage. Obviously Excadrill doesn't because it's Steel and Ground type. Now we get the Terrain health back. And Sableye gets the leftovers. And Vikavolt doesn't get the Terrain health boost back because it has Levitate. Flying types and Pokemon with Levitate don't get health back from grassy terrain. Alright, so here I'm trying to decide, what do I want to do? Do I want to try for the ally switch again and hope it works? Usually it doesn't work twice in a row, because usually your opponent will expect you to do it again, so they will just target the slot where the Pokemon with ally switch was. So I'm thinking about swapping. Nah. Maybe? Nah. So let's go ally switch again and pray to God it works. Like I said, usually it doesn't work twice in a row. This is not one of those times, because it did work twice in a row. I was very surprised about that. I could not believe that actually worked. Especially considering Ryan was watching with her. I'm surprised he didn't tell her to target the Sableye instead. Well, we do the Max Knuckle. Obviously does not much due to it not being stab plus the +2 defense. And Vikavolt hits us with Bug Buzz. Now we take the Sandstorm damage, and then we'll get the grassy terrain health back. Okay, so as you can see, we go into Sir Leaks-a-Lot, the Tower Master. Alright, so I go for the Grassy Glide into Excadrill, which didn't do much because 1, it wasn't a crit, 2, it's not stab, 3, they had the +2 defense boost, and Sir Leaks-a-Lot goes down to 1 max Steel Spike. Now they're at +3 defense. Alright, so we get off the G-Max Drum Solo. I probably should have done earlier, and Vikavolt gets the KO on Rillaboom with Bug Buzz, leaving Picasso versus the world. Alright, so Picasso has Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, Draco Meteor, and Air Slash, like I went over last week. Didn't change the moveset at all, because it works just fine. Alright, so Excadrill uses Earthquake. Vikavolt won't take damage, but it's also... the power of it is lowered due to the grassy terrain, which is why Picasso actually survived. And Excadrill dies to Life Orb. Picasso gets off the Flamethrower, which should KO Vikavolt. So now it's Picasso versus Tyranitar, and the thing that I didn't see, that I didn't know what it was. So we take Life Orb Recoil, we take Sand Damage, but we get a little bit of health back from the grassy terrain. And due to the Beast Boost, we are at +1 special attack. So she sends out Tyranitar, and her 4th Pokemon for the battle, which is Reuniclus. So luckily, we go first. Tyranitar's not super fast, and Reuniclus is basically a Psychic Slug. It's super slow. Alright, so there, as you can see, I had to take the stuff off the overlay. Still getting used to that. So I decided to go for the Sludge Wave, because it hits both of them, even though it's resisted by Tyranitar due to its rock typing. No, sorry. Yeah, rock typing, duh. And Tyranitar will KO us with Flash Out. So that's battle number 1, and I will see you in game number 2. Alright, so welcome to game number 2. First battle didn't go exactly the way we planned, but hopefully we can come back in this one. Alright, so we are going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to be bringing Funky Kong, Picasso, Sir Leaks-a-Lot, and Chompy. So here I mess up a little bit because I meant to withdraw Chompy and Picasso so Sir Leaks-a-Lot could go first, but obviously you see I didn't. So we end up leading off with Funky Kong and Picasso, but hopefully that doesn't mess us up. We'll see. So the main question is she going to be bringing the same 4 and leading off? If she does, is she going to keep the same lead off? So let's see. And she brings the same lead off, Tyranitar and Excadrill. Alright. So yep, so here we have Picasso and Funky Kong. Alright, so I am expecting her to do the same thing as last time, and that's swap out the Tyranitar. So I'm thinking I'm going to double into the Excadrill, considering how many problems it gave me the last battle. So let's see if she does what I expect her to. And yes, she does. Let's see what she goes into. And yep, same thing. Vikavolt. Awesome. So, read that perfectly. So now I will be doubling into the Excadrill. But instead of Rillaboom, I am going to be maxing the Ganondorf. So, yep, the Ganondorf gets big. So we get off the Grassy Glide, which does an okay amount of damage. She gets off the max steel spike and takes out Funky Kong. You know what? That's okay. And it was a crit too. That's fine. I can live with that. Takes a little bit of life orb. We get the max flare off to overwrite the sand only until she sends out Tyranitar again. And we get the KO on the Excadrill, so that will no longer be a problem for us. And we still have another 2 turns of Dynamax now after this. Alright, so we get the special attack boost, we get the Life Orb recoil, but we get most of that back from the terrain. And now since I have the terrain out, I figure, hey, let's send out Sir Leaks-a-Lot, because he has Grassy Glide. I was honestly expecting a Max Quake into Ganadel that first turn, so that worked out very well for me. And yep, okay, so Sandstream, like I said, overwrites the sun that I set up, that's fine. So I go for Grassy Glide on Tyranitar, and I go for the Max Wormwind into Vikavolt, which will absolutely KO. Tyranitar isn't going to be getting much of my special attacks because I know it gets the +1 special defense from the Sandstorm since it's a rock type. Alright, so she goes for Protect, so Grassy Glide does nothing, and I get the Max Wormwind off into Vikavolt, which, as expected, goes down. So now, not only am I sitting at +2 special attack, Tyranitar's sitting at -1 attack. So any attack that she does is going to do even less damage. So again, we take the Life Orb recoil, we get Sandstorm damage, but then we get the terrain health a little bit back. Alright, so her 4th for this battle is it Reuniclus or is it something different? Oh, nope, it's Toxtricity. Alright. Unless something happens drastically, I should have this battle won. Well, this game anyway. If I win, that'll still leave this 3rd battle. So we get the Grassy Glide off into Tyranitar, which is a crit and it KOs. So now it's her Toxtricity versus the world. So Toxtricity gets off a Boom Burst, and we get off a Max Wormwind, and this battle is ours. So, I will see you in Game 3. And looking back, that was also a 3-turn battle because we were still in Dynamax. Alright, so welcome back. It is now time for Game 3. So, last battle, Chompy didn't even touch the field, so she didn't even know we brought it. So I'm just gonna go with the exact same 4. So this time, I'm going to lead off with Funky Kong and Sir Leaks-a-Lot. Gotta love coffee. And then I'll keeping Picasso and Chompy in the background. while I have the time, I will leave the link for the society in the description. Please feel free to like my video, like Ryan's video whenever it comes out, and then subscribe to both myself and the society. Alright, so now it's time to start game 3. This is the deciding game. Either we will be 0-2, or both teams will be 1-1. Since she won her battle last week. Alright, so, like I said, we lead off with Funky Kong and Surfetched. She leads off with Excadrill and Toxtricity. Think about Dynamaxing, but I'm like, nah. I'm actually going to wait and Dynamax again Adele later on. So I go for the Grassy Glide into Excadrill and the Close Combat into Excadrill. Alright, so obviously she maxes Excadrill again. Not surprised there. Alright, so we get the Grassy Glide off. She gets Sludge Bomb off into Rillaboom, which thanks to his Assault Vest, he lives. She hits him with Max Steel Spike, so he goes down. That's fine, I was actually kind of expecting him to go down. He was just kind of there to get the grassy terrain up. Alright, so he's sitting at +1. We KO with Close Combat, and it's not even a crit. So, awesome. It may not have KO'd, though, if I hadn't gotten off the Grassy Glide. She sends out Meowstic, and we go with Picasso. So it's male Meowstic, so I'm expecting her to have Prankster on it. Alright, so I go to Max Meganadel and go for the Max Wormwind into Toxtricity and the Grassy Glide into Meowstic. She swaps out, goes for Tyranitar. So it's going to take less damage now from the Max Wormwind with the Sandstorm on. That should still do a fair amount of damage. Let's see. Okay, so she fakes out Surfetched, so I won't be able to use Grassy Glide. Picasso gets Max Wormwind off. And yep, okay. Without the Sandstorm, that would have done probably KO'd. So Meowstic and Tyranitar's attack fall. And now we take the Sandstorm damage. Now we get the Grassy Terrain health. Alright, so I go for the Max Wormwind into Meowstic, Close Combat into Tyranitar. Okay, so Tyranitar goes for Protect. And Meowstic gets up the light screen, so this Max Wormwind may not KO it. Close, but yeah, no, okay. Obviously without the light screen, it would have KO'd, but now Meowstic's attack doesn't matter. Now Tyranitar's sitting at -2 attack. And since she protected, close combat doesn't do anything, that's fine. No big deal. Tyranitar at -2 attack is kind of useless now. Alright, yep, so we all get the grassy terrain health. So just fixing the overlay there. What I didn't notice was Rillaboom is still up. Alright, so I figured she'd withdraw Tyranitar because it's sitting at -2 attack, so it's kind of useless. Alright, so she gets up the Reflect, so physical damage will be lessened. I get off the Grassy Glide into Toxtricity, that's fine. Max Wormwind into Meowstic to KO it. So now she has to bring back Tyranitar. The Sunset swapped out will be at neutral attack, but you know, I'm sitting at +2 special attack, so that's good. And obviously she no longer has her Dynamax. And this should be the last turn of my Dynamax, I think. So let's see. Like I said, she brings out Tyranitar, who's at half health, and yep, okay, so our Dynamax is over, but that's fine, because we're still sitting at +1 special attack, okay, couldn't remember. That's fine. Alright, so I go for the Flamethrower into Toxtricity, and I go to knock off the Toxtricity, because, yep, I knew she was going to protect there. So, that was a good read by me. So, Sir Leaks-a-Lot, even at -1 special defense, somehow survives. Which was unfortunate for her, because now Sir Leaks-a-Lot gets the KO with knockoff. With a crit knockoff. Gets the KO with the KO move. That was terrible. I don't regret it. Alright, so the Ganondorf takes Sandstorm damage, almost dies. So Leaks-a-Lot takes the Sandstorm damage and does die. So, unless something drastic happens against this Tyranitar, this game and the battle are mine. Because now out comes Chompy, who will be moving first. So yep, this game and this battle for this week against Katie is over. With a vicious rend, Tyranitar goes down, and we've won. We have won. The battle I thought I was going to lose, I come back and win 2 games straight to win the battle. So, good game to Katie. She played well. Things just worked out better for me. And I will see you next week. Later.